$1.8 million for Phonos, the latest from Podnews.net with Climavores. Take part in a virtual live episode. Phonos, a Vietnam-based audio platform, has raised $1.8 million to expand into podcasting. The service already includes audiobooks, meditation content and book summaries, and has 130,000 monthly active users. Acast is encouraging the use of visual descriptions in podcasts to make content more accessible for blind and low vision people. There's an example in the blog post we'll link to in our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. Audiobooks are now available on Spotify in the UK, Ireland, Australia and New Zealand. They'd launched in the US in September. Will Anderson and Charlie Clausen, long-time Australian podcasters, have been signed by Listener. More than 400 episodes will move to the platform, though they'll continue to be made available elsewhere too. And Luminary has launched in India. US pricing is $34.99 annually, but pricing in India is 999 rupees annually, which is $12.20. The company also appears to have a new logo. You'll see it in our newsletter because they're a long-term supporter. And thank you for subscribing, and if it's a thing where you are, happy Thanksgiving. In podcast news, Cooper Island is from CBC Podcasts. It's an investigative series about one of Canada's most notorious residential schools, where unsolved deaths, abuse and lies haunt the community and the survivors to this day. It's from CBC Podcasts, and we thank them for their support this month. Vista Talks has won a Gold Vidi Award. The podcast focuses on trending business topics and features industry leaders and global experts. Now, on November the 30th, Climavores is putting together a virtual live episode of their podcast featuring author and NYU professor Marion Nestle. For decades, Marion has been a towering figure in nutritional science in a field littered with fad diets and bogus studies. She's been a voice of authority on the complicated relationship between food, politics and our health. Now, she's written a book called Slow Cooked about the things you should and shouldn't eat and who you should and shouldn't trust about food. Marion is joining Climavores hosts and renowned journalists Mike Grunwald and Tamar Haspel for a spirited conversation about food history, food justice, and how to eat for a healthy body and healthy planet. Stephen Lacey, co-founder and executive editor of Postscript Media, will moderate. You can register for free to join them online on November the 30th at 1 Eastern Time. You'll find a link in our show notes and our newsletter today. And bring your questions for Mike, Tamar and Marion. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.